The jet whirls around as the Predator ship takes off, a blast from its cannon destroying one of the F-16. "We lost Weathers!" Shorts shouts before requesting permission to open fire on the alien craft as its engines ignite and it heads into space. "Fire at will," the commander orders, and rockets fire from the F-16, exploding against the side of the craft, but they have no effect. Inside, though, the ship rocks as the explosions hit it, awakening the healing Wolverine. The animalistic mutant gets to his feet, his face regrowing. But you're probably wondering how Wolverine got here. As it turns out, throughout Wolverine's history, he has run into multiple predators. Since he doesn't remember half of his history, no one knows that the predators exist. Last time we saw their first meeting, which made the predators aware of Wolverine. Now we'll see how they affected his life. This is Comic Storian. I take comic books, turn them into audio drama so that you know what to add to your collection. If you enjoy this type of content, consider checking out Comic Storian Full Story for much larger videos, or check us out on Spotify to hear these stories on your drive. Today we're going to be covering issues 2 and 3, and let's get into it. Wolverine grips the tangled roots that fall off the cliff around him. He has fought this enemy before, the hunter from beyond the stars. He knows the creature has no patience and hopes that he has already moved on. Wolverine needs to heal. The blood has finally stopped flowing and his body is knitting itself back together. He shifts slightly and his movements send rocks flying down the cliffside. Logan grits his teeth, but it's too late. 3 drones appear over the cliff and they hone in on him. Lasers fire off and Logan is forced to leap as the cliffside begins to crumble around him. He falls through the air, his body snapping through the trees as he tumbles into the water below. But the rocks follow him, pinning him to the mud beneath the water, causing his body to black out as water fills his lungs. But he opens his eyes as there's a splash and the Predator begins to swim towards him. But many years ago, back in South America, Team X has been dropped into the jungle to stage a rebel uprising. But the mind-wiped mutants have met with something they didn't bargain for. Logan looks up at the creature, vague flashes of his past leaping into his mind, and he reaches down for the strange weapon that he has carried for years, a weapon that he can't even remember acquiring. But the alien in front of him, it knows what it is. "You want this, bub? Don't you? Here you go." Logan hisses as he grabs the disc and throws it. It whirls through the air, slicing through 2 of the predators before coming back to his hand. "Creed, Mav, Jackson, fall back!" Logan bellows to his team, but Victor Creed isn't listening. He stomps forward, hefting a massive minigun on his back. "Screw that!" He growls as he opens fire into the tree line, the rounds chewing through the wood, sending splinters flying in every direction, until finally his ammo is running dry. Victor grins with vicious glee. "Well, are you dead?" he asks the aliens, but one appears behind him, driving a spear through the mutant's chest. Creed whirls around grabbing it, pulling the alien closer, driving its own spear through its stomach. "Come here, get a closer look." Creed snarls before they both fall to the ground. The rest of the team is already running, retreating through the rebel camp as they fire wildly into the woods. "What are they, Logan?" Maverick asks, but Logan shakes his head, admitting that he can't remember. Jackson turns to fire, but a wire loops down, wrapping around her neck. It yanks her up into the trees. Logan and Maverick whirl to a stop. "Where is she?" Maverick snaps, but the body suddenly drops in front of them, now missing its head. Both mutants raise their weapons, wildly firing over their heads. Logan finally stops, looking down at the body, and his eyes widen as he sees the mine attached to the corpse. The explosion rips through the clearing, throwing both mutants away, and as they come to, Maverick looks down at his wounded body. "Can't walk," he gasps at Logan, and Logan moves to lift him, with Maverick looking on in terror as one of the predators rushes them from the wood line. He grabs his pistol and he fires 3 rounds, big bullets chewing through the predator's tough hide, dropping it before it can stab Logan in the head. Grunting his thanks, Logan lifts his friend and begins to carry him away. They quickly retreat into some nearby Aztec ruins, unaware that there are 2 predators left, quickly moving in on them. "Hold tight. Keep your finger on the trigger. I'm going for cover and digging in like an Alabama tick." Logan snaps at his friend as they head into the dark interior. Inside, they're surprised to find the rebel group's entire stash of weapons and explosives. "The general was ready for war," Maverick coughs. Wolverine suddenly whirls as something comes up behind him, popping out his bone claws, preparing for a fight. But it's only the general and his remaining soldiers who aimed their weapons at Maverick and Logan. I know why you're here. We're not enemies, so long as those things are out there. And with that, he proposes a short-term alliance. We live together, we die together, the general says as he puts his weapon away, and Logan finally agrees, putting his claws away. All right, but we do it my way. An hour later, the Predators attack, but they are met by groups of the general's rebels, who open fire and try to kill the aliens before they are quickly cut through. The two Predators continue deeper into the temple, following the signal from the disc weapon that Logan kept. But when they find it at the altar, they turn away to realize the entire temple has been rigged to explode. The explosion tears apart the temple and the surrounding jungle. And with that, Logan and Maverick quickly return to their waiting extraction, where they find a still living Victor Creed. The helicopter flies away, and the temple ruins begin to shift as the claw of the surviving Predator breaks free. It's years later. Guards stand at the ready at Weapon X facility in Alberta, Canada. But something comes out of the shadows of the wood line, cutting through two guards. The Predator decloaks as he slips inside the Weapon X facility, gunfire echoing through the concrete facility as the guards try to stop the rampaging beast, but finally it arrives at the main chamber, where Logan awaits in his adamantium bed. But now we go to the modern day, back to Canada. The hunt is continuing, and having fallen off the cliffside, Wolverine is trapped underwater, rocks pinning him to the ground. But he knows his prey. He knows that this alien is from space, and he knows that it has become too reliant on its technological advantage for its hunts. He pops his claws, slashing into his own flesh, using his own blood to make the water murky. The Predator splashes into the river, swimming down and pushing through the murky depths until it arrives at the rocks, discovering that Logan has already freed himself. Meanwhile, in our past story, the Predator has fought its way through the Weapon X facility, killing anyone who got in its way. That's where it found Logan on a table, plugged into monitoring equipment, having recently received the treatment that would lace his bones with metal. The Predator pulls out its wrist blade and slices into Logan's flesh, revealing the gleaming skeleton beneath. The ultimate trophy. But that pain brings Logan to life. His mind is shattered, more beast than man at this point. His claws pop on instinct, and he slashes at the monster, stabbing into its chest. The Predator roars in pain and throws its acid into Logan's face, burning away his flesh, revealing nothing but a gleaming skull beneath. He falls back to the table, still now. The Predator stares down at the skull and finally picks up the mutant and begins to carry him out of the facility, back through the forest to its waiting ship. Inside, it drops Logan's body in front of the trophy case, before returning to the bridge to care for its wounds. But as it heals itself, the ship is suddenly rocked by explosions. The Predator runs through the controls and looks up into the sky. When the alarm sounded, the response was sent. Two F-16 fighter jets buzz above the forest again. Control, this is Schwartz. The bogey's not responding to our hails, but we just gave him a wake-up call. The fighter pilot radios back to base. The jet whirls around as the Predator ship takes off, a blast from its cannon destroying one of the F-16. We lost Weathers, Schwartz shouts before requesting permission to open fire on the alien craft as its engines ignite and it heads into space. Fire at will, the commander orders, and rockets fire from the F-16, exploding against the side of the craft, but they have no effect. Inside, though, the ship rocks as the explosions hit it, awakening the healing Wolverine. The animalistic mutant gets to his feet, his face regrowing. Claws pop out of his hands, and he slashes against the side of the ship, ripping open a hole. As the alien craft heads into space, Wolverine equipment and debris are sucked out of the side, and they begin to fall back towards Earth. Logan begins to tumble through the air, picking up speed as his body ignites on fire due to the friction. Finally, he collides with the Earth and creates a massive crater. A little while later, Professor Thornton arrives with a recovery team, picking up the already healing mutant so that they can return him to Weapon X. But Thornton finds something else. A strange alien mask. He picks it up, staring at it in fascination. This would be the key to the Weapon X project. This would allow him to build something that could control the animal that Wolverine was. Canada, 1 week ago. Logan doesn't remember much about his past, just bits and pieces and flashes through his mind. But while searching through the Weapon X facility, he discovered something. He stalks through the wilderness of Canada carrying a briefcase, and he stops to open it, pulling out the Predator mask. He remembers the hunt. He remembers fighting this warrior through the history of his past. He plants a stick in the ground, hanging the mass, activating the signal that will broadcast to the hunters, that will bring them to Earth. And he prepares. But now we go to another meeting in the past for Logan. This one's in Japan, where he stands at the ready, a samurai sword at his side, and he senses movement behind him as the cherry blossoms fall. Drawing the blades swiftly, he whirls around to block the attack of Muramasa, Japan's greatest swordsman. The two trade blows back and forth, with Logan leaping away to avoid a sweeping kick, but Muramasa is too swift, and he knocks Logan off balance, disarming him. As the blade spins through the air, Muramasa grabs it, holding both swords to Logan's throat. "You're good, Wolverine, but you're not the best that there is," Muramasa points out, and Logan grits his teeth. "That's only because you won't let me use my claws." But the two suddenly stop arguing as they sense danger nearby. Logan pops his claws, staring into the trees, seeing something from his past. "You have been my student for a long time, Logan-san, but today we fight together," Muramasa says as he readies his sword, and above them, the Predator stares down at the two warriors it will now take as its prize. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of this concept if you want to see more, because this story is to be continued.